Hi, and welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm your host, Susan Baroncini-Moe. Okay, it's Friday. Oh, jazz hands. I did jazz hands for you. I did. It's Friday, and that means it's our coming attractions show. That means I'm going to tell you what's coming up next week as well as through the rest of the month. And the reason I do this on Fridays is because, first of all, a lot changes through the week. I schedule new interviews, people have schedule changes, things like that. So I like to keep you up to date and ready. So here's what's coming next week. That's question number one. What's coming next week? What's coming next week is my friend Chris Brogan. He is a 9-time best-selling author. He is a very well-known speaker and entrepreneur and business consultant. Chris is working on his 10th book. We didn't talk about that because it's not done yet, but we'll talk about that later in this year. Maybe early next year, I'm not sure. But Chris and I are going to talk about content, and that's important. When we talk about content, I mean like, audio, video, blog content. And that's important whether you own a business or you work for a business. So pretty much everybody should know about content right now. So Chris and I are going to talk about that. I'm excited about that interview, and Chris is a great guy, and he helped me to break a Guinness World Record. So a dear old friend. All right. So also next week coming up is a new friend, Dr. John Day. And I am so excited that I'm telling you I get to interview this guy. This book, my husband and I have been reading this book to each other. Okay, so this is a wonderful book. The deal with Dr. John Day is that the Longevity Plan book is basically the distilled knowledge from his studies of a village in China called Longevity Village. Now, all over the world, there are these places called blue zones. And blue zones are places where there tend to be a high number or high proportion of centenarians, people who live to be over 100. And, there was a book many years ago called the Okinawa Plan, and there was another book, something about Russia. And so there are all these different pockets of centenarians. Well, this place in Bama County in Longevity Village in China has the highest concentration of centenarians on the planet. And Dr. Day went and studied these people. He's a cardiologist, and he went and studied these centenarians, studied the village, and distilled down what he learned into 7 principles. And it's not stuff that you go, oh my gosh, I could never, look, I'm not going to grow my own rice, okay? I'm just putting it out there. I'm sorry. I love to garden, but I'm not going to make my own rice. I mean, I'll make rice, but I'm not going to grow rice, okay? I live in Indiana. So I'm definitely not going to do that. But there are lots of things I can do. And so that's really what this book is taking the knowledge of Longevity Village and saying, okay, how can we apply this stuff in the Western world? And so I get to talk to Dr. John Day about this book, and I'm very excited because this is it's such a good book. It's such a good book. And, I read a lot of books, and I don't give them all my highest recommendation, but in fact, if I don't think a book is good, I won't even bother to interview the author. I can't share a book with you if I don't believe in it. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. Now, that's what's coming up next week. Question number 2, what's coming up in the rest of September? Well, as I mentioned last week, I'll be interviewing my also old friend who helped me break a Guinness World Record. All my friends are coming out to support me and to be on the show, and it's really cool. Bob Berg is coming, and we're going to talk about The Go-Giver. And we're going to talk about it in a way that I don't think it's really been talked about before. The Go-Giver is a great book, whether you are an owner of a business or you work for a business. So again, a great book for anybody, and a great way to kind of think about how you show up in the world. So we'll talk about this book in a new way. Aren't you curious what that might be? Also coming up this month, another friend and fellow Sound Wisdom author. We share a publishing company. Chris Reimer. Chris Reimer wrote this book, Happy Work. I have not come up with Chris's 2 questions yet, because Chris is a little bit eclectic. Chris wrote this book, Happy Work, about creating a hospitable and pleasant working environment for your employees and to help your employees feel like they're welcomed and wanted and valued. And so this book is fantastic. But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to ask Chris questions about this or social media, because he's also a phenomenal social media expert. And he's very wise about many other things. So I haven't yet decided what I'm going to ask him yet. All right. I am also interviewing 2 dynamite women this month, and I'm excited about that. First, Stacy Hanky, Influence Redefined. This book is great if you are thinking that you would like to be a more influential person, you would like to influence people more, then Stacy's book is great for that. And so again, another book that's great whether you are a business owner or you're trying to build your career. So great book for everybody. I'll be interviewing Jodie Foster, the schmuck in my office. And I think last week I said, like, there's no schmuck in my office unless it's me. I work from home. I'm alone. Am I the schmuck in my office? If there's no one else in your office, are you the? All right, I don't know. But this is a great book if you have difficult people in your working environment. And honestly, let's be real, who doesn't, right? And yes, sometimes I can be, apparently. I'm kind of mean to I don't give myself a lot of time off. Like, my boss is terrible. So just kidding. So anyway, this is a great book. Again, whether you are a business owner or you are an executive or you are building your career, this is another great book to help you learn how to deal effectively with difficult people. And I get to talk to Jodie as well. So a lot of great authors coming up that I'm very excited that I get to talk to. And working on formulating a lot of those questions now. Yeah, so those are the things that are coming up with respect to interviews. Now, I'm going to do a little poll today because one of the things that I'm doing is these shows every other day that are just me. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are interview days right now. And then Monday, Wednesday, Wednesday are me talking about a topic. And then Fridays are this show, The Coming Attractions, kind of housekeeping stuff. So I wanted to know if you guys would share your opinions with me about what kinds of things you'd like me to talk about. So I have a few ideas in the hopper. One of the ideas is to talk about ADHD and, you know, what are the ways that I manage my ADHD and what are some recommendations if you have it. Another one is talking about reading, why it's important and how to read effectively and really get a lot out of what you read. I am what I call a hobby hopper. So I could talk about my hobbies. I thought about introducing you to Gus, my puppy, but I don't know how long Gus will stay on camera, and then I don't know what happens after that. So I might have to do that on a day when I have some help. I could talk about the Guinness World Record and being on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Guinness World Record Special Edition. I can talk about my book. I can talk about generosity. I can talk about gratitude, mindfulness. Oh, and yesterday I posted a video in which I discussed my propensity for eating a large quantity of avocados, despite living in Indiana where avocados don't grow. But I said I might do a video talking about my foolproof method for ripening avocados to perfection. And I don't just have that. So I have a pretty streamlined system for when I buy avocados, how I ripen them, how I cut them and open them up, and how I preserve them for a couple of days if I need to. So I could do a video on that. That's not really, like, I'm not sure how I'll do that, but if you want to know, I'm happy to share that with you. And I also thought I might do a show on introversion / extroversion, like what are the differences? Why are some people who are introverts convinced that there's something wrong with them? So those are some of the ideas I have in the hopper in terms of what might be coming soon. I'm going to do a poll today in the cards. And I actually want to take a minute and explain what that means. When I say in the cards, that actually is a YouTube term. I'm explaining this because I didn't know this. I thought the cards were like the things at the end of videos. That's not what the cards are. Cards in YouTube language are this up here. There's sort of in this general region. There will probably be a circle, a white circle with an eye in it. And that might turn into like an area here that has some sort of like message or note or something. And so if you click that, then a little window will go, ooh, and it will show you like whatever I linked to or things like that. So there's some limitations what I can and can't link to, but anyway, if you look at that, when I say something's in the cards, that's where it is. So that's where I can use tools like creating polls and linking to videos and things like that. So if you actually look back at some of the videos that I've already done, you'll find maybe some little Easter eggs that you didn't know were there, because I certainly didn't know what cards were. Now you know, now I know, now we all know. So yeah, so in the cards, I'll do a poll about what kinds of subject matter you're interested in. Please feel free to share in the comments. If there's an author that a book that you've read that you really want me to interview the author, and you even have questions you want me to ask the author, like what if you don't know how to email an author or ask them questions, or you don't have a show to interview them on, but you want to know something from them? Go ahead and share your question. I don't mind. And don't forget, you can ask questions of me in the comments that I will answer on a later date, maybe even a live show. So yeah, all of these things are coming up. This is why I love Fridays, because I can share all my big ideas with you. So yeah, please be sure to let me know who you wanted me to interview. Let me know if you have questions for me. And also don't forget to take the poll in the cards. So that's it for today. Those are my 2 questions. If you like this video and you're excited about what's coming up, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see those interviews and make sure that you don't miss an episode, please be sure to click the subscribe button. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.